Hello and welcome everyone to the Super Saturday debate. I'm Shivani Gupta. It is certain now that Congress is all set to get its first non-Gandhi president in over 2 decades. The race for the next Congress president for the first time in 25 years will be between Rajasthan Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot and former Union Minister Shashi Tharoor. Now, the MP from Thiruvananthapuram got his nomination form collected today through his close aide Alam Javeri from the AICC headquarters on the first day of the start of the nomination process. This came a day after Gehlot made it clear that there will be no candidate from the Gandhi Parivar this time. Will Mr. Gehlot have a clear upper hand since he seems to be backed by the Gandhis themselves, or can Mr. Tharoor put up a fight? Before that debate, here is what works for each candidate. Now, Ashok Gehlot is a veteran leader. He can tap into the OBC vote bank. He can galvanize some of the hierarchy and the leadership of the Congress party across various states. But the con that goes with him is that he is seen as subservient to the Gandhis. Now, will the cadre really want to change that perception that the Gandhis will continue to be in control and that, really want the Congress party to move on from the age-old tried and tested formula? Remains to be seen. Now, Shashi Tharoor, he has administrative experience as an MP, as an ex-minister. He could make use of some of that as the candidate as the next Congress president. But he's also not seen as a mass leader who can galvanize the cadre. Could that go against him as the next big face of the Congress party? Here's more and then we debate.
In the last press conference, I made my position very clear, and that remains my position.
वन मैन वन पोस्ट का फॉर्मूला लागू नहीं होता है, परंतु कांग्रेस पार्टी कोई बनता है तो वो 2 पोस्ट पे काम नहीं कर सकता ना, उसको पूरे कंट्री का देखना पड़ेगा, हर राज्य का देखना पड़ेगा, तो जस्टिफाई करने के लिए एक पोस्ट पे आना ज़्यादा उचित है।
Dr. Anshul Avijit is the Congress spokesperson joining us on the show today. Tuhin Sinha is from the BJP. I'm also joined by Rashid Kidwai, senior journalist and author, knows the Congress party very well. Also, Radhika Ramashesan, senior journalist and columnist, joining us on the show. Thank you all for your time. I want to begin by our experts first. I'll bring in our political guests in just a bit. Radhika, do you believe Mr. Tharoor's fight can be strong, or will it be purely symbolic?
I think it's somewhere midway. Shashi Tharoor has a record. He's a veteran of of many contests. Let's not forget, he jumped into the fray for UN presidency. Quite audacious on his part, if you ask me. He's won 3 elections from Thiruvananthapuram. The second one was particularly tough, but he made a fight of it. So I wouldn't say that it's entirely symbolic. However, Mr. Gehlot is perceived as the Gandhi's candidate, therefore the official nominee in a sense, because the shadow of Mr. K.C. Venugopal follows him wherever he goes. So that itself, gives an impression that he has Rahul's blessings as well, apart from Sonia. And then we have to see the composition of the electoral college. That is most important.
But will we ever see the composition of the electoral college publicly? Radhika? Radhika, will we see the composition of the electoral college publicly?
You're asking me?
Yes, go ahead. I think we're facing some issue because Mr. Tharoor, Radhika, has been obviously wanting to take a look at those lists. He apparently has, but that's been the larger question hanging over the Congress election. You say that it will be important to see the electoral rolls or the electoral college, but will everyone get to know? Will it be that transparent? That's the question I was asking you.
Okay, no. Because having covered some of the organizational elections of the Congress from Uttar Pradesh in the past, there is an element of farce about the whole thing. You know, these delegates who make up the electoral college are usually clients of, various leaders at various levels of the hierarchy. And who are these leaders? The leaders are generally appointed by the top leadership in Delhi. So therefore, it's a very a proxy kind of process that goes down. So this is not like a parliamentary election or even an assembly election or a panchayat election. That is why Shashi Tharoor and Manish Tiwari have asked for the lists, because, there are ghost names, I mean, names which don't exist, but nonetheless find their place on the lists. There are duplicates. I mean, there are the names of those who have nothing to do with the party remotely. But as I said, they all are clients. They may be somebody's driver, somebody's cook, whatever, I mean. So therefore, I think they can legitimately scrutinize the electoral rolls. But that, I think Madhusudan Mistry made it very clear that it is not going to be circulated. If they want, then they can go to each state office or PCC office and look at the rolls for themselves. I mean, that's an impossible task, really. I mean, for anyone to sort of perambulate the country and go to each PCC office or DCC or whatever block level office and ask for the rolls, scrutinize. How are they going to know if the names are genuine or not? I mean,
so having said that, then Mr. Tharoor, and let me take that to Rashid Kidwai, starts on the back foot to begin with, isn't it?
I think, Shivani, to my understanding, these are all kind of postures. It's posturing. He's the first to collect the form. He may file nomination. We know that the deadline for withdrawal is there. So it is going to be, it depends whether how Mr. Ashok Gehlot would he want to, get unanimously elected, reach out to Mr. Tharoor, ask his concerns and try to incorporate those concerns and offer him. Remember, Mr. Shashi Tharoor, my understanding is, he is obviously he's an ambitious person. At the same time, he's very cautious. He wants to be a Pranab Mukherjee, a Manmohan Singh, a Arjun Singh, some kind of thinking person who could write, person who can, articulate some kind of ideologue, Congress ideologue. He doesn't want to be a dissenter or a rebel. Remember, he heads the All India Professional Congress that has units in almost all states, 28 states, and in union territories.
Yes.
So he has some understanding. Of course, as Radhika was pointing out, these are organizational elections. If you get the electoral, the number of electors at over 9,000, one is that you can, just try to reach out to them, which is very difficult. Other is you can go to court and try to create some.
No, I'm sure that's not going to happen. But Mr. Rashid Kidwai, you almost sound like you don't believe that Shashi Tharoor is indeed going to contest. You believe that is not certain yet.
No. Look, the electoral college is as such, and everyone knows that there is a kind of Rajasthan problem is there, and the Congress High Command, if we take their name, like Gandhis are very keen to settle that issue, and that is why Ashok Gehlot is being considered for president post, so that Sachin Pilot can be the chief minister. But if that doesn't happen, then Gandhis would have a lot of problem. Mr. Tharoor, and rightly so, he wants to be leader of Congress party in Lok Sabha. Which he's something that he's not being considered. He wants to be a member of the Congress Working Committee. I mean, you see, at present, Mr. Tharoor, who's a towering leader and is an intellectual and a writer, 28 books, etc., but he is not among 5 top Congress leaders from Kerala. I mean, in the Congress scheme of things, in terms of protocol and hierarchy, etc. So Mr. Tharoor wants a place in the high table. Whether
are you saying this is a negotiating tactic then, collecting his nomination form?
Precisely, that's what I'm saying. It's a posture.
It's posture. Okay. But let me go across to Anshul Avijit of the Congress Party joining us. Anshul, there are grave concerns, and you've heard 2 experts speak about just on this show, but generally speaking, there have been grave concerns on the manner in which the next Congress chief is going to be selected or elected. It almost seems like, with the kind of pitch that has been made, and Rashid is talking about it, the fact that the Gandhis want Mr. Gehlot to become the next Congress chief so that they can solve the Rajasthan equation and problem as well. almost makes it a done deal. Are these then free and fair elections?
Oh my God, the phrase that you use, grave concerns. I mean, look at the irony, Shivani. It's the BJP that's not having its elections. They've wrecked the economy. The social tensions are the highest. China is sitting in your territory. And there is continuous indictment of the Congress party over its internal elections, which it announced last year, and the culmination which we're seeing now. Actually, I'm quite happy that the fascination in the Congress party's twists and turns, who's contesting, who is not, how much support will they have, the kind of competition, the canvassing, the lists. It's all very fascinating. That's how an election should be. That is how every election inherently is made out to be. There is competitiveness, there is competition, there is canvassing. And this is not dissimilar to any election in that way.
But is it? Is the Congress president election the same as any other election?
Concerns? No, you have talked about the grave concerns, my God. Onerous words these are.
Well, you should take it as a compliment, Anshul, because I think we all genuinely care what happens to the Congress party.
Absolutely. And I've I made it at every point to say how thrilled and delighted I am at the interest taken in the Congress election.
Why not? It's the oldest political party in the country, and its decline has been a matter of concern for everybody. You talk about democracy in the country. How are we going to have that if there is no strong opposition? Like I said, it's a matter of compliment for the Congress party.
No. First of all, the concerns about democracy in the Congress party are completely unfounded. That's not where the problems lie. The problem lies in
I wasn't talking about the Congress party.
Itself.
I was talking about the fact that in the country, we are talking about Indian democracy. Yeah.
No, absolutely. I agree with you. So there was a concern about this. I understand the concern. A particular announcement was made last year in which there was a process of the selection of the Congress president that is reaching its fulfillment. So the pledge is supposed to be fulfilled at the moment. There's been no hiccups on the way. And this idea about the lists and, drivers and all is all bunkum. The thing is that I've seen the process throughout. I was noticing how it went there. I was in Bihar as well. There are PROs, there are DROs that have been appointed at every level. There was a process in which these delegates are elected according to the number of memberships that they are. I mean, you can keep raising questions. I mean, that's a part of the propaganda.
No.
And a part of
Again, Anshul, the question I was asking you was that with Mr. Gehlot very prominently emerging as the Gandhi's choice, does it remain a contest anymore?
No. Again, I'm going to, if you will forgive me, Shivani, resist from taking any names and speculating on what the outcomes may be. You will appreciate my position there. Why would I do that? There are a number of people, perhaps there are two at the moment, which the press is saying they've announced themselves. Until we know for certain what is going to happen, everything is in the realm of pure speculation.
Okay.
I am not going to preempt that and start commenting on their prospects and what their strengths, what their weaknesses are, how many people they can muster up. I mean, that's all for you to do. And I'm really happy you're doing it. You should be doing it.
Okay. Before I go across to Tuhin Sinha, Anshul, I'll come back to you. Before I go across to Tuhin Sinha, Ms. Radhika, you want to respond? Anshul is saying that the lists are absolutely well done and well stitched up. There's not a question there.
I'm talking from my experience of covering organizational elections in the state of UP in the past. Shivani, there used to be fisticuffs. Almost every district, every block had reported, brawls between two factions, and not because they were divided over the choice of the candidate. It's just because vested interest was so much at play. You could see that. And, that kind of played out in street fights. So when he says that it's all bunkum, it is not bunkum, please. There are several complaints. Every election, there are complaints about fake names and ghost names. I mean, names of people who don't exist. So I don't think I'm making up anything. I'm talking from my experience.
Yeah, and I don't think that the Congress should come from the point of view that everybody has something against them. The fact that we're discussing their elections and the fact that everybody is so interested and their process is even being scrutinized is frankly something that is par for the course and should come as par for the course. But I'll go across to Tuhin Sinha now. Tuhin, you should be finally happy that you're getting that the Congress is finally moving towards a non-Gandhi as its president. You've criticized the Congress party for the longest time as being a Parivar first family. They're moving on. Why don't you welcome them?
Well, good evening, Shivani. In the last couple of days, no doubt the Congress has made some contrived attempts to make it seem that democracy exists in the party and that Parivarwad, it is not only about Parivarwad, but then the effort is so hackneyed, it is so forced that you can see through it. And like you yourself mentioned, there are big questions over the electorate, over the electoral list, which is where the catch really is. Now, when it comes to the two candidates, if you ask me, both are absolutely mediocre. Ashok Gehlot has presided over the worst law and order situation collapse in Rajasthan, where obviously the victims have been from the weaker sections, and Congress has showed utter hypocrisy, true to its character, and not, Rahul Gandhi's Rajasthan has not figured in his tragedy tourism list. Shashi Tharoor in the last few years has resorted to nothing more than wisecracks and innuendos, Hindu-Pakistan snites. So I think either way, it won't change the fortune of the Congress party, more so because Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi would not let the control go. My simple question to the Congress party today is, let's suppose the new president is elected in around October 20. Will Rahul Gandhi let that person lead the Bharat Jodo Yatra and take the back seat? No. So
Let
in
Anshul
that case,
respond to that.
why would anybody respect that Congress president?
Will the Gandhis eventually let go of the control, Anshul?
So, Shivani, what you've done is completely collapsed time, gone 1 month ahead, and now you expect me to comment on it. I don't know how I'm supposed to do that. What I'm going to say is that there is a process which is on. I would really urge everyone to, please keep speculating. You're absolutely right. The interest is there, and I'm mincing no words by saying that I'm absolutely delighted there is interest. Of course, it should be there. It will be there. Please keep speculating. There will be more if more names come, there will be more speculation. But you can hardly expect me to say what the kind of equations there are. One thing I will say about the leadership of the Congress and the relationship between the leadership and the Congress president. Now, this kind of leadership is an old one. Sometimes it perfectly overlaps when they are the same thing. You must remember that there was, the moral authority of Gandhi in the 1930s and 40s, in the 1920s as well, was completely unquestioned. But he became the Congress president only once. That doesn't mean that he was not the leader or was not spearheading the Congress party. There was also the Congress president that he was always there, that looked after the organizational aspects, the administration, the resources. So there are duties cut out. They completely work hand in hand.
The difference though is, Anshul, I get where you're coming from. You could be the fountainhead or the source of inspiration and of ideology for a party and not be the party president. I totally get that. The problem is you're comparing Rahul Gandhi with Mahatma Gandhi. I think that's a comparison too far-fetched.
No, hang on. Come on.
Rahul Gandhi has been Congress president. He's also been the de facto Congress head and has led your party to defeat after defeat. We are not fighting the British anymore. You've got to win elections, for heaven's sake.
Shivani, please do not misunderstand me. I was invoking the Congress party's history to make a point and talk about the relationship between the Congress party, the leadership, and the Congress president. Obviously, over time, that has changed. First of all, till 1933, it was only 1 year that you could be Congress president. That changed after 1933. So many people became for multiple years. There were changing equations. There's a changing dynamic. Obviously, it's a 137-year-old party.
But why are you not answering my straight question?
What is your question?
Will the control still remain with the Gandhis? That's ultimately the big outcome that we're all wondering about when it comes to this election.
I encourage you to wonder. I am not stopping you from wondering, but to expect.
You don't seem confident though that it will be a real leadership change.
No, there is a function of a Congress president. Of course there will be. There is a function of a Congress president. If somebody who assumes that role is expected to fulfill that. But that's just a beginning of any president of the party. There are challenges in front of us. Nobody has denied, Shivani, that there are no challenges that exist before us. You should ask questions to the BJP, which has not had a democratic culture at all. In fact, I would say that I'm least interested in the BJP's democratic culture, even if it decides to have presidents tomorrow, because their ideology will still remain the same.
Their ideology is going to be the same. I don't think that they're saying they want to change their ideology.
About their democratic culture, which is non-existent.
Okay, let Tohin respond to that. I want to go across to Rashid also very quickly on the Gandhi question.
I
Yes,
think
Tohin.
it should suffice for me to say over here that in the 24 years when only Sonia and Rahul Gandhi ji could be the Congress president, BJP had all of 10 presidents, and most of them came, are first-time politicians, some of whom started their careers pasting posters of the party. So whether they were nominated or elected does not matter. See the graph of the Congress party from 1998 to 2024, to 2022, and compare it with the graph of the BJP from 1998 to 2022. If results work, if our BJP presidents have been delivering consistently, why should it matter whether they are?
Do tell me whether it's the government or the party. There is no difference.
Okay, Anshul, let him respond.
Yes, sir.
How does it matter if all of the BJP presidents have consistently delivered, and we have had consistent changes?
Okay. No, I think it's not a fair comparison to compare BJP and how its presidents are elected and Congress. The questions for both are entirely different. The BJP does have a fountain source and a fountain head. It has a certain ideology. I don't think anybody's shying away from that. But they do have a process where new leadership is assigned and given that space. It is an entirely different question for the Congress party because it is a party that centers around a family and nobody can deny that. Rashid, I'll give you the final word. And that final question is again the same. Regardless of whether we get the first non-Gandhi president in over 2 decades of the Congress party, will the Gandhis still very much be in control?
I think, Shivani, it all depends upon electoral success or the absence of it. Remember, nobody questions that kind of dynasty or just continuing, to Naveen Patnaik or to M.K. Stalin and all, because they are also represent dynasty, but they are success electoral terms. They are successful. In the Congress, of course, the political authority would continue to be with Gandhis. See, it is immaterial whether they are president or not. Just as Mr. Narendra Modi has never been a BJP president, but that nobody on the census can say that Mr. Modi is not important or relevant to the BJP. So there is no correlation, Shivani, between being, a party head or being, in
the reason I ask you this question, though, Rashid, is that the new party head, after a period of decline for the Congress party, should at least have some sort of a leeway to bring about the changes that several senior Congress leaders have been asking for themselves. There have been resolutions passed over it. If none of that happens, then this is a pointless exercise, whether Gandhi is president or not.
Yeah. So, Shivani, if what I have understood, your question is Mr. Ashok Gehlot, if he wins, would he have his own political secretary? Can he, stop listening to K.C. Venugopal, who's the general secretary in charge of organization, or Rajesh Makan, or all those people in the Congress? I think the answer is big no, because Mr. Gehlot would know the boundaries in which he will have to work. He cannot displace, team Rahul Gandhi that exists not only in the AICC Secretariat, but in all states, all over the country. So
I'll leave it at that. I think you've given as clear an answer, Rashid, as one can. I do thank for the candidness for all of our guests. And thanks a lot for joining us. We slip into a very short break. Stay with us. News and updates do continue in just a bit.